Very good afternoon, students. So in the last session, we were discussing about the Spark SQL and the data frame, and we saw that how we can create the data frame. So today, in this session, we are going to discuss about how we can create the data frame using the RDDs. So one of the first way of creating an RDD, creating a data frame with the help of RDD is like infer schema using reflection. First way is your infer schema using reflection. The reflection is a concept which is used in core Java, okay, through which we know the internally about the class details, what are the different variables and the methods are available in the class. Okay, so now in this approach actually is more concise. So that means this approach leads to have more concise, you can say, code to write as compared to other, and it works well with when we have an idea about the schema. That means when we already know the schema. When we already know the schema, then it is better approach. We can apply this one, and in this approach we are going to use reflection mechanism or reflection concept to infer the schema so that we can create the data frame. Now let's see how we can create the data frame with this. Now let's say first I am using sc.text file, and with this let's say I'm giving some file name like people.txt, right? And with this I'm creating the, let's say, RDD line. Now I'm applying a function, you can say applying a transformation in this RDD called line. So let's say line.map, and then let me write lambda function, and then let's say x, and I am splitting this line with the help of, let's say, comma. So this people, let's say people contains file like John 24, then comma, and then we have some other name like Smith or 20, something like that. So this information is available in this text file. This is your text file. So now we have just split it based on comma, or in case this split is something different, so we have to apply a different delimiter for this approach. So I'm just giving a simple example that there is a line delimiter is comma. Otherwise, you can apply whatever the delimiter is given or mentioned in the file. Now, so that means I am creating another RDD that is called parts, and now I need to create a data frame. So before data frame, I need to map my schema. So what I'm going to do is parts.map, again lambda function. I'm using lambda or x. Now this is important. So what I am trying to do is I am creating one row, that is a row, and then providing the name, because this column is your name and this is your age. So I'm giving a name and saying that name is equal to x of 0, which is this one, and then comma, and then I'm putting age is equal to x of 1. Now semicolon, now parenthesis, this is for row, this is for your lambda, and in case if we need to typecast, then what we can do, we can also put like int over here, and then I can put like this also in case if it is needed. So now let's say this is your variable called p, is another RDD called p. Now what we have done over here is that we have load the text file and convert each line to a row. So what we have done, convert each line to a row. So now this will contain our schema also. So now with the help of schema, now we can create our data frame. So now let's say my data frame is df, and I'm using spark dot create data frame function, and then I'm putting this RDD over here. So this is the RDD from me. So this way I am able to create my data frame with the existing RDD from the John 24 Smith 20. Now if I want to play something, so what I can do, I can play like df dot create or replace temp view, and then I can suggest any name, just like people I'm suggesting name, logical name, and then I can apply any of the function Spark SQL and the star something. So we can do that thing over here. In this, what we are doing is we are just inferring the schema, and then we are just registering the data frame as a table, and this table is this one. Okay, in this way, after that, what we can do, we can use spark.sql, and then we can call any of the SQL command. Let's select star from people, and this people is a logical name, and then this will give me the result, and this people is coming from this logical name. So this is the first way we can create a data frame. Okay, when we have to create some schema out of my RDD. So this is first way, and the another way is we can explicitly specifying the schema. The second way is how we can programmatically specifying the schema, right? So this in this way, when we have to programmatically specify the schema, that means we need to first construct the schema, then we apply it to the existing RDD. So let's say the RDD is already there, and then we will apply according to that, and we will create a schema for that. And this method is actually, this approach or this method is more verbose as compared to the previous one, because it will, when we create it, you will get it. Okay, this method will allow to construct data set when your column and their types are known in advance. Column and their types are known in advance. Okay, that means until runtime. Okay, until runtime we don't know the data sets types and all. So it allows the construct data when the column and data are not known in advance until runtime. So in this approach, we can apply this runtime behavior of this specifying the schema. Okay, so now in this we have some steps. Let's say if I write the steps, the steps is like first you can say that just you create an RDD of, you can say tuples. So we can create tuples, or it can be having a list from the original RDD. Okay, so first create an RDD of the tuples, or then you just create schema which is matching the structure of the tuple, or you can say if it is tuple is there, then tuple, or yeah, or you can say list also. Then after that you simply apply the schema to RDD, schema to RDD. So I can show you with the help of, like, let's see some code snippets for that. Like we have, let's say line is there, this is an RDD, we have sc.text file, and I'm using the same file called people.txt. Okay, so this is an RDD. Then we are creating a parts. In the parts we have line, the RDD from the previous step, line.map. Then we are using lambda, and then we are calling x.split, and split based on comma. So this is the same line. Now here the things changes. So this parts.map, and then we are using lambda, let's say p. Okay, any variable p I'm defining. Now here what we need to do is we need to create a key value pair p of 0, and then we will say p of 1. And in case, let's say the question was John 20, and then comma, let's say comma, or some Smith is there with 24 and comma. In case something is there, let's say some space is there, then you can also apply at that time, you can apply the function called strip if it is there. Otherwise you can skip also. Okay, so this is strip, and then another is lambda, and then there is a for p1. Okay, so there are 3 parentheses. Now I'm just defining the word called people for this RDD. Now we define the schema. Schema is your string. The schema is equal to, let's say, name and space age. This is your schema, and this schema is encoded in a string here. Okay, now we need to define the actual fields. What are the different kind of fields are there? So let's say I am saying fields is equal to, now I have to define first struct field. Okay, the struct field, I will provide the name, field name over here, whatever the field name over here, and then another the string type over here. Right, now I will use a Python function like for, and let's say I'm giving the field name over here, field underscore name from this schema. So I'm writing in schema. Okay, and then we are splitting this schema by space. So now what will happen when we call the split function? Okay, so now in this schema, when we call the split function, it will split on this here, and this name will contain by this file name, and then this file name will iterate, and this file name will be, this field name will be the name, and then string type we are going to define the string type. So automatically all the schema will be created with the help of struct field, and it will split till the schema is there. Now we are actually defining the schema over here, that is struct types and the struct type of fields. So what are the fields we have? Then we have a schema over here. Now we create a data frame like spark dot create data frame, and then you call a people, and then the people is there, and this schema we have. So people will contain the data as an RDD, and then schema will contain the schema, and this is my data frame. So here what we are doing, we are applying the schema to RDD, and after that whatever the things we need to do, like if we are interested in doing some important thing like data frame dot create or replace temp view, then we can call the people. There's a logical name again same, and then we can call as a spark dot SQL again same, select from people, and any other query which you are interested in, that we can run like that. So this is another way of creating an RDD. Another way, creating data frame from range of numbers. This is another way we can create a data frame through the range of number. Now let's say we have a data frame, are creating a data frame, and then I'm calling this spark dot range and range of 5, and then 2df. I'm calling this function is important, that it will create a data frame, and then I'm giving the logical name num to this, and then I'm calling show. So what it will do, it will give the num. What it will do, it will give you the num, and range is 0, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So this will be the range. So this output will be here. This num is this one, and this range starts from 0 to 4th total number of 5. Okay. So now another thing you can create over here is you can also create like this spark dot range, another variant of that 5, 10, and then 2df, which is create a data frame, and then give some name num, let's say, and then show. So what it will do, it will create num again, and it will start from 5, and 6 and 7 or 8 and 9 and 10 will be the it's exclusive one. In this way you can create like this also. Third approach is you can create spark dot range, and then you can give 5, 15, 2, then 2df, and then num, and then show. So what it will do, it will call num, and it will start from 5 and give a difference of 2, then the value will be 7. This is a difference, then 9, then 11, and then 13, because 15 is exclusive. So this is another way of creating data frame from the range of numbers. So next we are going to discuss about the data frame reader, and we have seen this data frame when we did like spark.read, so that returns a data frame reader. So now this data frame reader is a core construct. This is your core construct for reading data from data source to data frame. When we create data frame from the data source, then it is a core construct for doing this, and with the help of this can only access, that means this data frame reader can only be accessed by the Spark session. So when I'm saying and only be accessed, that means I'm talking about data frame reader. So this data frame reader can only be accessed by the Spark session interface. That means, what does it mean? That means it can't be create. We can't be create the instance of data frame reader. The data frame reader, we can't create the instance of like that without the Spark. We need a Spark session interface of Spark session variable just to create that. But this instance is available. This instance is available like Spark session or Spark also, because Spark variable contains the Spark session dot read. So in real scenario, we have done like spark dot read in the last session. So we have done like this, right? So spark session dot read, what it will do, it will return the handle of data frame reader, right? So what it is doing is it is reading the data from static data source into your DF data frames. But on the other hand, let's say this one, let's see on the other end, spark session dot read stream. So what it will do, it is returning the instance to read, but from where? From the streaming. That means when I say streaming source, I mean to say that real-time data, like Twitter analysis data is coming on. So now the read stream you are going to learn in the coming session, where you will learn the Spark streaming or Kafka streaming, but not in this course. We will do it in the next course. Now let's say we have, for data frame reader, we have few methods. Okay, we have few methods and then few of the arguments to define those methods. And if there is any description, we will write this description over here. So one of the first method is your format. Format is a one method. This method will take data from as an argument like Parquet files, or it can be CSV files, or it can be TXT files, or it can be Avro files, or it can be JSON files, or it can be ORC, or even JDBC. Okay, so lots of files are there. Now, important thing to remember is description. In description, I want to tell you that the default format is your Parquet format. If anything is not defined, or if anything is defined, then we need to define it in the spark.sql.sources.default. So here I need to mention, if anything is not mentioned, then automatically Parquet is the default version for that. Okay. Now next is option. Second method is your option. In option we have mode. One is we have a mode. The mode can be your permissive, or mode can be your fail fast, or it can be your drop malform, right? Or second option is your infer schema. In the option we have a second. Third is your path. So three things we can mention in the option, and you are going to see in the coming time that how we can define all those stuff. So mode, what is the meaning of permissive? The first thing we need to remember that the default mode is permissive. So what is the meaning of permissive? So when I say permissive means like everything will be set to null if it found any broken records or incomplete records, whatever the corrupted record, it will settle. And on the other side, if I say fail fast, then what will happen? It will throw an exception in case it will throw an exception when it meet the corrupted records. Okay, corrupted or any bad record. Third one is your drop malformed. The drop malformed, it will simply ignore. It will ignore the whole complete value or record. Okay, that will drop. It will completely ignore the value, not set as a null. So three different scenarios are there. For infer schema, though, that means this infer, or you can say mode, these two things are only possible. This mode or infer schema is only possible when we have a JSON or CSV files only, because the CSV file, the top first line can be your schema. JSON file also is having some schema into that. So those are applicable to these two things. The third one is your schema function. That means your DDL, it is your, let's say, DDL stream or your struct type. So you can define like A int or B string, something like that you can define over here. Okay. So now when we define this, so I mean to say that we specify the schema, and this specifying a schema is very, very good approach. What it will do, it will makes the loading very fast. Okay, it will make the loading very, very faster, and it ensures the data conforms. Okay, so it will ensure the data conforms to the expected schema over here. Last but not the least function is your, you can say, load. And the load means here you define an argument like you can say you will define an argument of like path to your data source, and this path can be empty, but it is only possible when we define in the option here this one path. So this load can be empty when we define this option, and I'm talking about this path. When you define this option and then path is specified over here, so then it can be empty. Now what I mean to say that very important thing is the Parquet file or Parquet data format metadata usually contain the schema. So though no need to define the schema, that means the schema is, so the schema is inferred automatically. Okay, right? So now let's see what are the different Spark built-in data sources. So what are the different built-in sources of data? So let's say put it name over here and the data format, what kind of data format we have. Not any kind of comments if we want to give on this, so then we will put over here. The first is your text file, and then we have a CSV file, or we have a JSON file, or we have a Parquet file, or ORC data format, or JDBC data format. Text file data format is your text. CSV is also a text file. JSON is your text file, but Parquet is your binary file. ORC is your binary file. JDBC binary file. Text file, we don't have any structure. This is no structure. CSV file is actually the comma separated, but can use other delimiter also instead of comma. In the lab, I'm going to show you comma separated and tab separated also. JSON is semi-structured format, and here the column name and data type can infer from the schema automatically. Okay, infer automatically. Parquet is a default format, again default binary format in Hadoop. And ORC part of Hive. ORC is in the Hive, and JDBC is basically for read and write to the RDBMS. Okay. So now let's see the another aspect is called data frame writer. Right. So this data frame, with the help of this data frame, what we can save or we can write the data to a specified, like you can say data sources. So write data to a specified, or you can say built-in data source, and we can get the instance from the data frame. You can get the instance of this writer from the data frame. Let's say df is my data frame dot write, right? Or we can also write dot write stream, and this difference is same for the real-time streaming data. So you are going to see this in the Kafka streaming or Spark streaming. Now in the methods, so we have format method, which is something similar to the data frame reader. So I'm not going to discuss about these arguments, and any description if you want, if it is needed. Now format is the same which we have discussed in the data frame reader. Now second method is your option. In option we have a mode, and mode can be your append, or it can be overwrite, or it can be ignore, or it can be your error. And we also give the path, and path is to path to write. Okay. Now after that we have some more function called, like let's say we have a function called save. Save will give the path to the location, or we can say save to table. That means we need to specify the table name over here. So this is about the data frame, right? So in the coming session, we are going to discuss about the external sources, like how we can create a data frame from CSV, Ibro, Parquet, ORC, and many more things are left, which we are going to discuss in the coming session.